Hello my glam fam, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new, welcome to the glam fam. Today's video is going to be the full demo and review of the Jeffree Star Morphe collaboration. Is it worth the hype? We're gonna find out, so just keep watching. Also, there's gonna be a giveaway at the end of this video, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I wonder what I'm gonna be giving away. In review videos, there's always products that might work for me and it might not work for you, or vice versa. Just keep that in mind. This is all my personal preference and personal opinion. So yes, I'm gonna stop talking so we can get into the collection. So this is the package right here. I've opened it, I've peeked in it, but I haven't used anything inside. It's been, when was their launch party? I wanna say, it's been way over 2 weeks, I think. So when you open it up, you get a life-size Jeffree, and bam! I think they killed it with this package. The colors, the creativity, the shininess, the pink, it's beautiful. So let's just jump right in. I'm gonna open it on camera with you guys. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brushes, 3 sponges, cute little notes, and you get a makeup bag. I can definitely say they killed it with the actual aesthetic of the brush, in a sense where I've never seen anything like this, that like icicle, beautiful iridescent feel and look to it. I love the little detail right here, like the indentations, because it gives the brush a nice grip. So when you're working with it, you have like a very nice grip. I just said that. So first brush I'm going to talk about is the JS1. This is, I believe, a foundation brush. Here is their ever so famous Morphe 439, and they do look kind of similar, but I don't know if I would use this as a foundation brush because I don't like foundation brushes. I love my beauty blenders, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to attempt to use this foundation brush to apply my foundation. The next brush we have is the JS2. I am actually most excited for this brush. So if you guys know, I am obsessed with the E3 from Morphe, which is this brush right here. I use this for all of my powdering needs, even if it's bronzing, even if it's just dusting off baking powder, and they look super similar. So I know from the get-go I'm gonna love this brush. What I would use this brush for is to kind of dust off the bake and overall powder. Maybe bronzer too. Yeah, maybe a bronzer. I'm going to use a lot of these brushes for a lot of different purposes because I only have 7 brushes to work with, and I'm going to attempt full face with just these brushes. I don't know if that was the meaning kind of behind his brush collection, for it to be just 7, to kind of have everything you need in 7 brushes. I personally don't think that's possible, but hey, we're gonna make it work. So the next brush we have here is the JS3. From the moment I saw this in this video, I knew exactly what I was gonna use this for. And I knew that I was going to use this for a lot of different purposes. Next brush is the JS4. So I do think that this is ideal for highlighting, and this is very similar to the 501. So the next brush is the JS5. This is ideal for crease blending, eyeshadow blending, nose contour blending, pretty much anything you want to blend. It has that beautiful tapered edge right here, therefore you can get really deep into your crease, and it's kind of stiff. The next brush we have is a JS6. This is yet another blending brush. Okay, so the JS6 is much more fluffier than this one. This is definitely more stiff, but I don't know if I mind that. I actually think I like that because that'll give me better placement. But I know once I kind of get my brush used to my movements and I just break in the brush, it'll open up. So this is similar to the MAC 217. I'm sure you guys have all seen, used, or played with that brush. The good thing about this brush is that it gets flat when you turn it to the side, so you can actually use this for placement as well. Okay, last brush is the JS7. This is an eyebrow brush that I will be using for eyebrows and for eyeliner. We have a spoolie on one end and we have the actual brush on the opposite end. So you guys will notice how well put together this brush is. Like, you guys don't see any sparse hairs coming out of the sides. This is what I need when looking for an eyebrow or eyeliner brush. I need that stiffness, and I need the brush to be put together really well in order for my eyebrow and my eyeliner to come out perfect. Last accessory is the makeup bag. I want to show this to you guys. So you just open it and it kind of folds. I don't think you need to keep this in there. Goodbye. I love that it's see-through so you can see what you have. Also, this material is very easy to clean. There are a lot of makeup bags that have become trash bags by now because my makeup is not clean. I mean, it's clean, but it's not It's messy, is what I mean to say. It's messy. I'm going to start with eyes first. I'm using the Jouer Cosmetics Concealer in the shade Custard to prime. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to try to make use out of every single brush, multiple uses out of every single brush. So I'm going to take the JS3, which is this contour brush. I'm going to use this to buff out my primer. And then, okay, this brush feels fantastic. I'm just taking a little bit of powder and I'm going to just apply a little bit just to set the eyebrow area and the inner corner. I'm not going to touch anything else. I'm going to be using the Morphe 35V palette for today's look, and I'm going to be using the it's JS5. I have all the information, price, and everything right in front of me. This retails for $8. We're zipping into this shade right here. This is a natural bristle brush. The size of the bristles are 3/4 of an inch. And I love the way it's applying the color into the crease. That tapered edge is perfect, especially if you have like deep set eyes and you need to get really deep into the socket of your crease. As far as the look goes today, I really don't know what we're going to be going towards. I want to get the most use out of each and every single brush. So I'm thinking maybe something natural. So I want to compare two blending brushes together. This is the JS5. And this is the Morphe Jaclyn collection, JH32. So when I blend this, let me zoom you guys in. You can see how it's really not moving the full brush. Like, you're not getting any of this type of movement. Whereas a brush like this, similar but not tapered at end as much as that one, you can notice how when I'm blending, the whole brush kind of moves. Does that make sense? Whereas this one, it doesn't, I mean, it can if I break into it, but it's much more stiff when you actually use it. Those who have this brush and have used it will understand what I'm saying, but I actually don't mind that. I really like that because this is going to allow me to get really, really, really deep into my crease. I'm going to be using the same brush because I want my crease to be a little more deeper. Picked up that much pigment. I'm only applying this into the socket of my crease. Just like that. Yeah. Ooh, I love it. I actually really like this palette. This is my first time using it on camera, so this can be somewhat of a first impression. I am going to pick up this brush again just to kind of blend upward and diffuse that shadow a little bit higher, because I don't think this brush gives me that ability to do so. But also, this brush wouldn't be able to give me the precision that this brush did for my crease. So we're working with both. So I'm going to take this a little bit higher just to diffuse everything and make sure that there are no harsh lines. So moving on to the next brush, this is the JS6. This is also known as the Rule Blender brush. I'm going to use this to apply a little bit of shadow on the outer corner. Wow, okay. I'm going to use this to apply a little bit of shadow on the outer corner because of the flat edge right here. But I'm also going to use this to also deepen my crease. We're going to have a very deep crease today. So I'm picking up the same shadow that we used last, and I'm going to just apply a little bit right here. I am living for this shadow. This matte warm brown shade is stunning. So I'm just going to dust off whatever's on my brush, and I'm just going to kind of go into the crease, and I'm going to buff out the edges. Next, we're going to pick up this shade right here on the same JS6 brush. I'm going to apply that right here and work my way inward and bring it outward. Oh, that's far. That's far. Got it. So I'm going to take this brush, clean it off. Wipe it on my towel right here. And I'm going to attempt to use the flatter side to apply shadow onto my lid. I'm going to pick up this shadow right here. It's just a matte neutral shade. And see how it applies. Usually I like to use a flat brush for this purpose, or my ring finger. Put it on my finger and I'm just going to apply a little bit more. I'm just pressing it to make the color more opaque. Picking up the JS5, and I'm just going to give that a little bit of a blend, just like that. I don't want to lose too much of that shadow we just applied. I just don't want it to be obvious where the shadow stops. So picking up this color one more time, I'm going to take that on the JS6 brush. I'm just going to apply a little bit on the outer corner of my eye, like really close to the lash line because I'm going to do an eyeliner. So I kind of want there to be something underneath it so the eyeliner looks like it's kind of sitting on something that's blended. This way my eyes will look a little bit more elongated. And I'm going to extend it out just a tad bit, brushing off whatever's on my brush and just blending it straight out. I'm going to dip into the black now and repeat the same exact step but keep it a little bit lower. I'm going to keep it a little bit lower because I don't want this to go high. I'm dusting off the brush completely and just buffing it side to side, just like that. I do not want this black to be very opaque. I kind of want it to be blown out. So I'm not going to really go back in and pack more. I'm just going to blend whatever's left to add that darkness. And so I want to test out the eyebrow brush for eyeliner. So this is a JS7 and it is retailing for $5. Sold out now, but I'm sure it'll be back in stock when you see this video. But they claim to be razor sharp bristles, and they are. It's a synthetic bristle. And it claims to work well with eyeliner as well. So let's give it a shot. I'm taking the Morphe Jet Liner. This is just a very black eyeliner. So normally I don't even use an angled brush for eyeliner. I just use just a straight bristle brush. But if this works, this will definitely replace that brush. But lately I have been into liquid liners. Never was. I'm even surprised that I'm even saying that. I've been a big fan of the Balm's Schwing liner. That one is actually amazing. And it doesn't have that wet look when it dries. It dries down to a very nice matte finish. So I'm going to tuck out my eye a little bit and apply a little bit right here. Perfect. Love the way this is applying, but the true test will be for the wing. So I'm going to start right here and lift it a little bit higher. Just like that. And release pressure when I'm extending the wing. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit more product and switch my brush from this way to this way. And just start bringing the wing downward. And then switching my brush again and connecting it right there. So to prep and prime the face, I'm going to be using I'm going to be taking the foundation primer from Mercier. This is the oil-free one. I like to use an oil-free one underneath of what I'm about to put on right now because eventually I'm going to get oily throughout the day because that's just how my skin is. But when I'm applying this foundation, which is the Morphe one, I get really, really dry upon application. So over top of this, I'm going to go in with the Mercier Flawless Skin Rose Oil. So this is really, really, really amazing if you are a dry person. So I'm not dry overall. I'm just dry in certain areas. But when applying the Morphe foundation, I do get a little bit dry. But I don't mind it as long as I have a good base underneath. So throughout the day, I will oil up because that's just how my skin is. But prepping it with this really makes the foundation go on so beautifully. So since there are technically two foundation applicators in this collection, I'm going to use both, one on each side. I'm going to use the brush on the right side, sponge on the left side. I've used this sponge before. It was actually the red one, their original one. It's the same sponge, the highlight and contour brush. Sponge. So we're first going to start off with the sponge on the left side, which is your right. I am using the shade 1.9. I'm using the shade 1.90 mixed with a little bit of 2.50. I use the 2.5 shade in the Disaster Makeup Challenge, which you can see. I think I'm going to put it right here. Check that out. It was a disaster. So mixing it with the 1.90, which will be a little bit more neutral and lighter for me. The 2.50 is just way too dark on me and it looks kind of green, but this shade put together is so ideal for my skin tone, and the coverage you get with this foundation is like no other. It also smells like the Kat Von D foundation. Who remembers that? It was the Kat Von D Tattoo Locket Effect. Wait, am I supposed to use her name in this video? No. Eventually, I do think I'm going to go over my entire face with the sponge because that's just how I love to apply foundation. But if this brush changes my mind, I will go over top of it with this side as well. So moving on to this brush, this is the Size Queen brush. So this retails for $18. And it is a synthetic bristle brush. I know I look very light right now, but I promise you when I contour and bronze, everything will come together. I'm going to actually go down my neck with the brush, and then I'll make my final decision if I want to go over top of it with the sponge overall. I'm going to go over top of it with the sponge only because I know that it's something that's in me. Even though I know the makeup looks great with the brush, I just need to have my foundation on with the sponge. So as far as this brush for foundation application, those of you who normally use their foundation with a brush, you will adore this brush because of the way it blends and the way the bristles spread apart when you're blending the foundation into your skin. But me personally, I'm a sponge girl. I'm gonna always be a sponge girl. That sounds weird. So I'm a sponge girl. So I cleaned off the JS3 brush and I'm going to pick up a little bit of cream contour with that. So I'm just going to contour in the areas that I normally do. I'm taking it right where my ear begins and I'm just dragging it a little bit lower and stopping where the arch of my brow is, just like you see right here. You get a lot of good movement with the brush. So what I mean by that is it's not stiff for your just dragging product. You can also blend with this. I usually only blend with the Beauty Blender, but just to show you guys for the purpose of this video, I will show you how the blend of this brush works. Like you can already see right here that the brush isn't stiff. It has movement to it. That's what I really, really, really like. I will blend my forehead contour. Just blend that right here because I put too much product there. But I will blend my forehead contour with this brush, just so you guys see how easy it is to blend with a synthetic bristle brush, especially one of this specific size. And also I'm going to go right here and buff my contour upwards. You never want to bring your contour down because you want to lift your cheekbones. So I'm just going back and forth, buffing this a little bit higher. And you guys can already tell how my complexion already looks a little bit more warm. I'm just going to go over top of it. Just like this. Perfect. It is so annoying to do makeup with hoops. Like, look. Really? I wouldn't normally gravitate towards a brush this big for nose contouring. It's not really that big, but I prefer something a little bit smaller. But just for the sake of this video, I will use this brush for nose contouring because that's what Jeffree put in the description, so he did mention that it's perfect for contouring the nose. So I'm going to grab my sponge and just press this and blend it like so. Oh my god, I'm supposed to use a baby sponge. Oh my god, it is perfect. Okay, amazing. So this is the wet one. Let me show you the dry one. This is how it looks dry and this is how it looks wet. So now I'm going to go into concealer. I'm going to use the KKW Beauty Concealer. I'm going to be using two shades. One is going to be a really light highlighting concealer and one is going to be just to kind of tone down my under eye darkness. So I'm going to first apply the number 2 shade. And then I'm going to apply a dab right in the center of number 8. Now I'm going to pick up the opposite end of the beauty sponge, the more taper side, and I'm going to just blend out my concealer. And when they blend together, those two colors, it merges perfectly for my skin tone. It conceals and hides the darkness. The number 8 does that, and then the number 2 just brightens my look. Picking up some concealer on the flat side of the baby sponge, I'm just going to apply a little bit of concealer right underneath my eyeliner to make that area much more clean. You can see how that also kind of picks up the liner. So picking up the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder, pressing it with my sponge, and applying it right underneath my eyes to set the under eye area. And with the baby sponge, I'm going to be picking up the same exact powder and bringing it down the sides of my nose. It gives that very narrow illusion of the nose. It's like a second nose job. Now picking up the JS2, which is the brush that I'm most excited about for this collection because it is very similar to the E3. And those of you who have been on my channel here, you guys know that the E3 is my baby. I use this for dusting off powder underneath my eyes. I use this to actually set my entire face. It has the perfect fluffiness to it. And I'm going to compare it to this brush because we know we love this one. We got to see if we love this one. I'm going to use this brush to just dust off all the powders underneath the eyes. Feels very nice. Let me see. This one is definitely much more loose than, yeah. Similar, it's not that big of a difference, but it's definitely much more loose, and that's not something I mind at all. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of my Cover FX powder to set the rest of my face. So this brush retails for $19, and the E3 retails for $18. They are both synthetic bristles. They are almost equally soft, but this is just like a little pinch, a little bit more softer. But it also could be because this is brand new and I've had that brush for a very long time now. This brush is my favorite from the collection. And I went ahead and cleaned the foundation brush, which is the JS1, and I'm going to use this as a bronzer brush. Normally I wouldn't gravitate towards something this dense for a bronzer brush, but let's just do it. I might end up loving it, so why not? I'm going to pick up the Laura Mercier No. 4 bronzing powder, and I'm just going to go ahead and give this a little bit of warmth to my skin. So just to show you guys what my ideal bronzer brush is, it would be this one right here. This is the JH05. So did you guys see how the brush doesn't bend back and forth like this one did? And that's nothing against the brush. This isn't made for bronzing. I'm just using it for this video because I want this to be mainly all Jeffree Star brushes. But I'm just going to go ahead and finish bronzing with this one. Okay, picking up the Buxom blush in the shade Wanderlust. I'm going to pick up the same powder brush that we used, the JS2. And I'm going to dip a little bit into that. Dust it off and give my cheeks a little bit of a rosy effect. So since there really aren't any small little shader brushes for my under eye area, you guys know I love that area to be very smoky. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because these are the types of brushes that I need, and we don't have that in this collection, which is totally fine. So I'll be right back. So I went ahead and finished off the eyes, cleaned off the brush. The black residue kind of didn't get off of the brush, but that's okay. That's not that big of a deal. So far, the spoolie is very, very, very stiff, and I love that. I hate loose spoolies because okay, excuse my little allergy moment. So I'm brushing all the brow hairs upward, and I'm using a powder product. I'm using the Tamnova Cosmetics Brow Duo in the shade Blondie, and I'll be using the Mink for the outer corner, but I hope you guys can see it. That's fine. So I'm just gonna start off right here. Okay, yeah, definitely a must for those of you who really, really, really love brow application. You guys really need this brush, and it's $5. That's crazy to me. It really applies the product very nicely and very sharp. So for those of you who use pomades or like a gel product for brows, you guys would appreciate this brush a lot more, because I know that if the brush for a gel product isn't stiff and sharp, it's gonna be a disaster. Powder, you can kind of get your way through it. So for the outer corner, I'm using the darker shade. Then I'm gonna brush my brows downward and fill in whatever is left up top. Going back in the blonde shade, I'm just gonna apply a little bit right here to fill in that sparse area. I feel like my brows are gonna be a little bit more thicker in this video because I'm very excited to fill them in. See a little sparse area right there. Bomb. Love that. I would definitely purchase like 4 of these brow brushes. Okay, so I went ahead and concealed my brow bone and added a little bit of a highlight. I use the KKW Beauty number 2 concealer to conceal my brows, and then I use Champagne Pop for that highlight. So we're gonna go into mascara and lashes next. I'm gonna be using the Lancome Monsieur Big Lancome Lash Mascara. I'm so obsessed with this mascara. I want to say it's my number 1. I'm gonna say it. It's my number 1. I am so in love with it. So I'm gonna do a couple coats of mascara, and then I will apply my lashes off camera and be right back. Now lashes are complete and mascara is done. I will list all of the lash details down below, so make sure to check the description box along with every other product that I mentioned or used. So the only brush that's left to discuss is the JS4. This is their highlight brush. They are calling it the Fly High brush. So I know I'm gonna love this because the highlight brushes that I use are similar, if not exactly the same to this one. So for today's glow, we're going to be using the Morphe Mist as a base and the Artist Couture Gold Digger Glow. I'm first just going to spray my face. Let that dry a second. And this side too. I have been using this technique for, I want to say, 3 makeup applications. So far I'm still getting the gist of it. I love to use an actual like liquid glow, and then over top of it with a powder glow, but this is also good in a sense where it kind of gives your skin a little bit of hydration prior to glowing. I just feel like with this specific glow powder, it just grabs on the setting spray that we applied on, and it really, really, really looks blinding. A little bit right here. Alright guys, that is a full review and demo for this collection. Do I think it's worth the hype? I think it is. The whole bundle you can purchase for $49, which I think is incredible. And I'm surprised that this collection isn't more pricier. The whole bundle you can purchase for $49. That includes all 7 brushes as well as the makeup bag, which I think that's incredible. Being that one brush, well, this specific brush is $19 itself, so that's almost already half of what you would be paying. So if you are interested in this collection, get the bundle. But if there's a specific brush you love, like that brow brush I think everyone needs in their lives, definitely pick that up separately if the collection is out. So I was able to snatch the full collection bundle, so I will be giving that away to 1 lucky subscriber of mine. So the rules are simple. All you have to do is subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, hit the bell button to get notified for my videos, and just comment below letting me know what was your favorite part of the video. So I'll be picking the winners in 3 days because I have to obviously wait for the package to get here, and I will message you personally and say congratulations. So yeah, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed reviewing this collection with you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!